Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome back to Twin Cities by Night and our third story arc, Dread. Dread is set in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, Minneapolis, and St. Paul in the hot and humid summer of 2011. Join us again and continue to follow the journey of Kaetao, played by Quinn, and William, played by Slavic, as they continue to traverse the dark society held within the Twin Cities. They will be joined by three new Kindred: Warren, a Tremere, played by Adam; Valentine, a Nosferatu, played by Alex; and Lenny, a Nosferatu, played by Andrew. The coterie will find themselves joined together by a sense of dread. If you would like to contact us, you can follow us on Twitter at twin_cities_VTM or Facebook at Twin Cities by Night. We hope you enjoy. Valentine, you awoke.
I'm in my house, the general house area of the lounge, and just enjoy it without Donald around.
Yeah, it's odd. It seems empty almost, There's no sign of life, Not that he cleared the place out, but there's no TV on.
I'm not missing him. I'm missing the lived-inness of the house, having someone else there, maybe the TV on or the sounds of someone moving around the house. It feels a little weird, and I find myself thinking, like, do I miss Donald? And then kind of shake my head like, nope.
Yeah. It's this weird dichotomy, right? Like, definitely, it's a companionship, but it's like a comfort amongst another animal, another beast in a way. It's just it's really not surprising to see that there's similarities between someone like Donald and a creature who has a beast. Excuse me. You read like interviews or you read books, about a lot of serial killers, and some of them will say that there's like this dark side of them or the side of them that comes out, and they acknowledge that there's a side of them that like wants to follow those actions that they are notorious for doing, and very, very, very similar to a vampire and the beast taking over. So maybe there's some kind of odd connection between you two, other than the supernatural connection that you have with him being your rule. But you have not received an email from Donald, by the way. You check your emails and there's no email from him.
Okay. While I'm in the house silently, I'm just going to kind of speak out to myself. I'm going to say, "Are you there, old man?" as if addressing the spirit that I sometimes communicate with.
You don't hear anything, and you don't feel the presence of the spirit. His actual name is Simon. And it's funny you bring up Simon, because it's kind of a interesting story about Simon, right? For people who didn't watch the Valentine character creation, Simon was this man who followed the occult. But when I say follow the occult, I mean, there's a lot of people who follow the occult. And a lot of them are just clueless idiots. There's people who read the Book of Law by Aleister Crowley thinking that somehow not having any self-control will lead you to enlightenment and some mystical order of yada yada, and think that Alan Moore, because he does a bunch of drugs and writes comic books, is somehow tapped into the vein of power. But then there are those few, those very, very fucking few, who catch a glimpse, a very sneaking side glance into it, and see there's more. And when you were bestial, living in that forest outside that small town that you were from, surviving, living in a cave, feeding off of animals, something drew Simon to you. A knowing that Simon had, a feeling that Simon had. Simon wasn't a social person. Simon actually was probably rather awkward. Would probably go to parties or go to events, and people would veer from him. When you knew Simon, you say old, and he was probably old compared to, in your child mind that you had at the time. He was roughly about 40, but he was kind of a gaunt man with bad skin, had scars of acne from his teenage years, didn't maybe have proper hygiene, but he searched through those woods, feeling drawn, and you came upon him at one point, and for something happened, and it's hard for you to wrap your thoughts around it, but something that he showed you, he probably paid you homage like you were a dark god. He probably, in the back of your mind, you feel he brought you someone at one time. And that's a very dark thought, that a man living in a small town came with another life. And rather than seeking shelter from a creature that lived in the forest, gave it homage and paid it sacrifice. And that's what he did with you. And eventually you came to his house, where a house he inherited from his grandmother, that he lived by himself, no wife, no family, no kids. It was probably a house that had sinks built up in a, or had dishes built up in the sink with, like, some rotting food, and probably had weird documents and books and occult symbols, and had like an old computer that was hooked to the very early stages of the internet. You knew after a while that he was tapped in very minutely, but he saw something between pages of writing, between some forum. Something opened a little bit inside of him, and it was dark. Was it evil? I mean, what is evil, right? But it was dark,
Right.
what he had within him. And there was a moment where you realize he started showing you what that was. And then the weird childish selfishness that still resided in your brain at the time, that childishness that had the little boy who would grab the toy truck from someone when he wanted to play with it and did no proper manners. You realize that you kind of saw a little bit of what he meant, and you took his life to see if you really knew. And that was that necromancy. And that was how you brought him to become part of who you are and of your little social circle. And he gladly served you in a
Right.
way, but now you don't feel him. But you know that the odd man spirit is out there. You haven't really grasped what out there is yet, but
Mm.
you know you potentially could if you just chose to focus a little bit more on it. And maybe one day you will. And as you're lost in these thoughts, I assume Kaetao's car comes rolling up. Let's cut to Kaetao. You wake up, Kaetao. You know you're going to go pick up this odd individual. What's going on in your mind right now?
That mostly he's accompanying Valentine because he doesn't really know what to make of this character guy thing. And so he's partly going along just to we'll see, like, make sure it doesn't actually do anything inappropriate to the place, or like, try to incriminate him some way. And so he's trying to gauge him basically by doing this.
You drive to this address that he sent you. We've already described this kind of whiskey tango white trash, neighborhood that he lives in right now. And your car pulls up. Valentine, can you give me a Mask of a Thousand Faces roll? Manipulation and performance difficulty 7, please.
0 successes.
I'll have you roll again when you guys get to where you're going. I would say, but for now, you have your rain slicker on and everything like that. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry, it's still raining, guys. It's still raining, just as heavy as it was when you guys snapped out of your sleeping state. So you see this car pull up, Valentine, this red Toyota Corolla, as it pulls along the curb. You can see Kaetao through this picture window of this old house. You can see this. You can see this boy standing there wearing a yellow slicker. You see the hood of the slicker come over, but you really can't make out his features too much. Go ahead, scenes on you guys.
Okay, I'll stare at him through the window that faces out into the driveway. I'll just kind of stare at him. I assume he gets out of his car or whatever he does. I'll just kind of wait for him to make his way to the door.
Yeah, actually, with Kaetao, he'll stand outside of his car for a moment, waiting for Valentine before he's like, okay, I gotta collect him.
The door's unlocked. I'll point, like, I'm assuming you see me through the window. I'll kind of point in the direction of the front door.
Kaetao will open the door slowly and just glance around.
And you'll just hear me call out, "Come in."
Don't like this already. He'll go and leave the door slightly open behind him.
Okay, I'll come and meet you out in the hallway. We'll see. Don't worry, I'm here by myself. Make yourself at home. I'll gesture to the dilapidated couch.
I'm fine standing.
Okay. How are you going? I don't really interact with your kind that much.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll notice there. I guess you've got excess kind of hair growing on your body a bit, don't you? Being a gangrel.
Yes.
Yeah. So I won't say that. I guess you'll notice me kind of looking at your skin in detail, looking at you up and down, taking you in.
Kaetao that's where just cross his arms and look uncomfortable being engaged like this.
Okay, I'll say to him, I want to look around Ophelia's, so what I want you to do is distract the staff while I sneak in. I'll find a window.
Shouldn't be too hard. You gonna going looking like that?
I failed the roll, didn't I? I'll kind of
You could do it again when you get closer, like when you guys drive there. You know what I mean? You could try it again. I'll let you.
Sure. We should blow a blood pool point, by the way, right?
Willpower. Willpower is what you blow for automatic success.
Oh, sorry. I mean, we should blow a blood pool for waking up.
Oh yeah. Blow blood pool point. Everyone for waking up. Thank you, man. He's like,
Yeah.
now you're gonna give me success, right? Because I reminded you. So everyone blow blood pool point.
I'll kind of run my hand over my face and then kind of chuckle a little bit, realizing how ugly I must look, and I'm like, "Oh, I'll fix this up before we get there." But hopefully, no one will see me anyway.
I hope so.
Okay, and yeah, shall we?
I'm just waiting on you.
Okay, I'll start walking outside. I'm gonna get in the back seat as well.
So you see this figure like pop, like, you know, he gets in the backseat of your Corolla as you pop in there and you're driving. You guys are, you know, come out of this neighborhood and you start going after like about 10 minutes, start getting to more of the downtown section of the neighborhood. And it's really pretty busy right now in downtown. You know, like downtown Minneapolis is one of those parts where like it's annoying to find parking sometimes. You know what I mean? So you are able to find like parking along the street, like about maybe 2 blocks away from Ophelia's. You see it as you drive by. You see his lights inside. And you see that there's people dining. You see that like rather large sign that was written in that nice cursive that says Ophelia's on there, you know, and
Juno.
it says Juno's and nice writing, and you're able to par along. And almost like, I don't know. I'll ask you when we get closer about, because you haven't,
Sure.
I mean, it's been like 3 or 4 days since you've been there, Kaetao, but man, like, it's just, you're seeing like a monument to someone who you were really close with at one point. So you guys, you're able
Can we
to go ahead.
have a chat while we're driving a little bit?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Have a scene with you
Sure.
guys. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say I noticed, you know, the dog fur matted on the back seat, and I want to ask Kaetao, I'll be like, you got a dog?
Yes.
I'll think back to all the times that dogs kind of chased me, you know, away from people's homes when I was living wild, and the pet dogs I'd kind of lord out and feed on, and I'll feel a little bit guilty. So I'd like to meet him or her sometime.
I don't know if that'd be conducive to your prolonged health.
Oh,
Yes, you're a bit small and he's a bit rather large.
oh, well, baby steps. Maybe one day. I also want to, just while we're driving, I just want to kind of look. Kaetao, how well did you know Ophelia?
Not that well, I guess. I'm seeing her around the city when I was before, you know, all the years we sort of like saw each other, I guess. Kind of got to know her a little bit a few months ago.
When I communicated with her, you were always the one she spoke most fondly of. She didn't have exactly kind words to say about your friend Jonathan.
You could say a lot of things about Jonathan. Kind words aren't exactly one of them.
Where is he anyway? I haven't met him yet.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. I'll check my phone again to see if Donald's emailed me yet just while we're driving.
Excuse me, you see no email from Donald. You know, this is an interesting like conversation dichotomy, because it's like very like awkward, right? You are driving with this child Nosferatu in the back who, you know, is this unmolded block of clay, right? Kaetao, and then you, Valentine, are in the back of the car of this person who your friend who is no longer in the mortal realm was friends with, but there's no connection at all with you two at all. You know what I mean? It's like you two are perfect strangers. So what's going on in your head, Valentine, at this moment? Like riding the back seat with this guy, trying to like, you know what I mean, pry him open a little bit.
I'm kind of seeing Kaetao not as a person, but as a collection of information at the moment that I can draw on. That's why I'm kind of asking these questions, you know. I'm not connecting with him on a personal level. I'm trying to draw things out of him so that I can add it to what I know about what has happened. And I guess I'm kind of being a bit cold in my approach, but also I guess you'd say going through the motions of trying to get to know him. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I'm asking about the dog and stuff. I'm kind of imitating what I've seen other humans do in social situations.
you're social engineering him. You're straight up socially engineering him. You're trying to get him to open up, trying to do relatable. I like dogs. Dogs are cool. We should meet. Oh, by the way, where's Jonathan? Because you were tasked to find out what happened to Jonathan by
Sure.
Brentwood. So yeah, you're socially engineering.
It's almost unintentional, though. It's just something that I do automatically with people.
Survival instinct. It's survival. What you've done to survive. For as long as you survive. So it's your only way of knowing how to interact. Yeah, and the worst possible, not the worst. One of the worst things that a kindred can do to someone was done to you. Now, mind you, it was a bunch of ravaging Sabbat assholes, but they fucking made a kid a vampire, and that in the Camarilla circles is frowned upon. That's taboo, and so your child mind was never really able to fully develop in the ways that Kaetao's was, or anyone else that you come across who's kindred who was embraced as an adult. So in a weird way, yes, you are more mature, but you had to mature and evolve in a totally different path than Kaetao did as a normal adult. So how you're communicating right now is how you have seen people act. So you act that way, but it's not a natural thing that like your brain grew and your brain learned and adapted. This is all, I see that person doing that, so I'm going to do this. It's all imitation rather than evolution, So yeah, I can see that. This is just what this is how you think these people talk, So definitely I get that. So what about you, Kaetao? What do you feel that you have this figure that's in your back seat, like talking to you this way and everything?
That basically, since Valentine is pretty much unknown to him, since Valentine's and since all the people, all the different kindred of the city have been trying to, get into his good graces, and so he's just like seeing another new stranger, another, another person to add to the pile of kindred trying to, get stuff out of him. So he's just like definitely not wanting to, open up that much. To give him like, just surface level stuff, but just not like just divulge the secrets like to maybe Sir William or something.
Yeah, because I noticed a line there where he asked, "How well did you know Ophelia?" And you're like, I kind of knew for a couple months. You know what I mean? Like there's no like indication at all about that you want to get to the bottom of who fucking killed her. You know what I mean? And that like there's a drive there. And in a way, it was almost brilliant how Valentine reacted. It was like, oh, but she had nothing but awesome say the things about you when I corresponded with you. You know what I mean? To try to get it to be like, see what you really felt about her. So there's this weird, like in that conversation, there's this tit for tat, like vampire talking that was going on, what was spoken underneath, you know what I mean? All the words that you guys did there. So I just want to dive into that and kind of decipher that a little bit. Because I think sometimes people don't realize that a good part of like vampire quote unquote fighting is just the words that they exchange amongst each other and like the little significance that they can have there. So it was awesome insight, I feel, into what's going on in both your guys' minds. So kudos to you two. So when you pull over the side of the road, let's go ahead and get that roll again. I'm going to hint willpower, but I'm not going to say you have to use willpower, but let's go ahead and get you to roll Masks of 1,000 Faces.
It's way more interesting if I don't use willpower. So
okay.
I've got 2 1s and 2 successes. No, they just cancel each other out.
No success. Yeah, so yeah.
No
and plus, if you get a success, you can't botch. It's like no successes and a 1.
Okay.
So
no successes.
No successes. So you are sitting back there, and you just don't feel the change overcome you. You know what I mean? And you looking in your rearview mirror, and you just see the same figure there, Kaetao.
Okay, so I'm just feeling something slightly off. I can't quite tap into what I normally would. I can't remember. Maybe my brain's a bit foggy. I can't quite remember how I'd normally make myself look. So I'm just going to pull my hood down more and pull a scarf up over my mouth and nose in the meantime.
You see him do this, Kaetao. And in a way, I would say it's odd seeing a figure that is like a child in a way, like go in such methodical means to, you know what I mean, cover who they are. Like this, I would say it's almost like a slap in the face by reality. Like, holy shit, this kid might have some experience. You know what I mean? Like seeing the way that he is taking precaution like that. So you both get out of the vehicle. As you get out of the vehicle, the rain is not as heavy as it was. It's starting to like slow down a little bit. It's that weird little like mist. Like, is it raining or is it not? And you just see like once that rain stopped, you don't see like literally happen when the rain stops. But I mean, now that the rain has stopped, you see like like people are starting to walk down these sidewalks without their umbrellas, and you start hearing the hum of like, you know, Minneapolis summer life as they're like going to like different bars or they're walking to restaurants. People are talking. You see like youth. You feel life. You feel like this swarm of just like this the citizens that are just living carefully free, not realizing that there's two apex predators who are amongst their midst. So you both step onto the sidewalk and you start walking towards Juno's. As you're walking towards Juno's, Valentine, you see between two buildings, there's like an alleyway there, like a small alleyway. And you take a second, you look and you feel that familiar sense of warmth that you feel when Simon is around. But you look, as you look into the shadows of this alleyway, you see like a very loose silhouette of his face. Like the shadows cut across diagonally, and you could see like a silhouette of his face and like his upper chest, almost like a Roman bust that used to be carved in marble. But you're used to when you deal with Simon, or what was Simon, you either can see small glimpses of him or you can hear, but never the same. You know what I mean? It's neither one or the other, or you feel that warmth. But now you see two. And that's odd. It's odd for Simon to do that. And when you are, for a second, as you're sitting there and you see that, then you hear a whisper coming within your ear. And you just hear, and it sounds like a radio frequency. Like you can't, like, you know, like the radio frequency that's not coming in quite clear.
Sure.
And how do you react when you hear that? Like what is your body language and everything like that? How would like someone like Kaetao who's walking next to you, how would he see you react to that?
I guess I would stop and he would keep walking, and I would just be kind of standing there as if everything around me wasn't happening. You know, I'll stumble off to the side so I'm out of the other pedestrian's way and just kind of rub between my eyes a little bit with my thumb and forefinger, trying to concentrate on what I'm hearing, see if I can pick anything out.
And you see that, Kaetao, you see him kind of step off. There's you know what I mean? I won't make you roll because obviously you're paying attention to the kid, you know, and you see him kind of step off to the side like that.
I'll try to, keep an eye on it, but try not to, stand next to him, just draw attention, just stand back a little, just like see what he's doing.
There's a moment when you're pinching, like, you said you're doing with your hands there, Valentine. You open your eyes and you just see people walking past. You kind of see a reassuring presence of Kaetao. He's not standing close, you know what I mean? But he's standing like along the wall, not drawing too much attention, but you could tell he's definitely like letting you ride out whatever wave you're riding on. And there's a moment where you're like focusing, you look and you see people just walking by, and you see there's like multiple currents of people. You know what I'm saying? There's people walking one way, there's people walking the other, there's people walking around people, there's just a swarm of people, and you're standing there and you don't hear anything. And you don't see that in the shadow because you're looking across where you saw him on like the wall, and you don't see him, but you feel that warmth. And as you're looking at these people that are walking, whenever there seems to be a break in these different currents of people, you see like a shape of him, and you see like it's very, very loose shape. You can see because Simon had that pox-marked skin, the acne-ridden skin, and you see like kind of a longer nose, and you see like silhouettes of that as it goes by, and you see like it's stronger than normal, like the whole body of him. He was a gaunt guy who just didn't eat healthy and didn't take care of himself, and you see it like boom, and then you close your eyes open, he's gone, and then you close your eyes open and he's there. But it's always like between these people walking, it's like a strobe light effect almost when you're trying to focus on them, and you hear them, just go, she gotta go, and then you keep seeing that. What are you doing right now?
Geez, I kind of look around a bit bewildered, and I'll look at Kaetao and kind of put a hand up to say non-verbally, like, just wait there a second. And I'll turn and walk down the alleyway a bit and push my fingers to my temples and try and focus a bit more on, I guess, on Simon.
Okay, so you go into the alleyway deeper, and you're trying to like squeeze your temples and just focus, and you're just hearing slightly like, and as you like open your eyes and look back into the alleyway, you see like people still streaming but then you see one figure of this old man. He's like kind of overweight, you know, and he's like standing there just staring at you in the alleyway, and you see this Kaetao, and you see this figure. He's like looks like he may be 50, just Midwestern type guy, has like jeans and like a dad polo shirt, and he's just slowly like walking into the alleyway. And you see this Valentine, and his figure is walking. As he's walking to you're looking, and you see this old man, overweight man's face, and you see slowly like the features are changing, and you see like they're becoming gaunter, and you see Simon's face is like, it looks like it's trying to break through this man's face. It's like bulging his skin. And you hear it go, I don't want to be go. And you hear that like coming through this face. And there's a moment where he's like within 2 feet of you. And you see like Simon's face is just reaching out in this grimace of pain. And then it snaps back into this old man's face. You see this old man for seconds looking. And then you see him grab his like left arm. And you see his body lock up. And then you see this old man like fall to the side. Like his overweight, obese body just falls over. And you're looking down at this body, and you realize that it's not breathing anymore, as his eyes are like wide open, and he's like dead there in the alleyway. You're looking at this Kaetao, and you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Looking in the alley. Go ahead, scenes on you guys.
I just rush up behind him and like, did you do that?
I'll look at Kaetao, kind of wild-eyed, looking a little bit surprised, like, I don't know what just happened. Let's move this body quickly before anyone sees, and I'll start dragging it towards some trash or a dumpster or something down the alley.
Yeah, I'll help him just try to like move the body or further away.
I'll just look at Kaetao and say, while we're doing that, and say, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. Strange things happen around me sometimes. And I'll kind of grin.
I just look at him like this? Do you mean like this? This is a thing that regularly happens?
Not this exactly, but I'm partially responsible, I guess.
This is not good.
And by the way, Kaetao, you did not see any of this Simon stuff. You didn't see, you know what I mean? You just saw like him acting weird, this old man walking the alley and falling over. So go ahead, scene's back on you guys.
Yeah, I was just like, okay,
Kaetao will notice that just as soon as we finish moving the body, I go in for a drink just immediately. It's like, why waste the opportunity? It's that opportunistic animal side of me coming through.
Yeah, I dig that. And I'm not going to make you roll a humanity roll because you didn't cause this. You know, you're just taking advantage of an opportunity, a survival. You're a fucking survivor, Valentine, right? Yeah. You're not like these people. You were not handed a golden spoon of the ivory tower to be able to be taught how to do these things right. You know, you were left alone. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for Ophelia, Juno coming into your life, you wouldn't have even gotten the little glimpses of this ivory tower, this Camarilla that these people have. So yeah, you don't let something like this go to waste. You know, this is something that, hey, it fucking sucked. It happened. You didn't do it. You have no idea what fucking caused it. Weird shit happens around you, but you're not going to let this go. So how much are you taking from him?
Just one blood pool. I don't want, when he's found eventually, I don't want his blood to be completely drained. I don't think that would be a good look.
Definitely. And so you see this small figure just like come upon him and just quickly feeds off him and licks his wound, you know, on this guy's neck. And he stands up. You two are left in this alley. Go ahead, scenes on you guys.
Sorry, I'd just like to check the guy's pockets too. I mean,
you dig through, you find like a flipped cell phone and you find like a wallet, and there's like probably like $30 in cash in the wallet, some debit cards. You see a couple of pictures of grandchildren, a driver's license for some random address, you know, and stuff like that.
So I want to strew that stuff all around his body and just take the money and make it look like a robbery or something.
Yeah, you can take the money. Definitely. I mean, you're a survivor. You need that money. Who knows what Donald can do with that money?
I'll go to hand half of that money to Kaetao as well.
You see him handing you some money, Kaetao. What are you doing?
I just like, no. I
don't know, Kaetao. Like this kid doesn't act like normal Camarilla Kindred do. And I don't want to say that Kaetao feels a certain way, but you can see a survivor. You can see survivalist. You could see like someone who has maybe some traits that people from your family have. That this kid doesn't just he lacks tact. He lacks tact. Now, is he a monster? No, he's not going around doing monstrous things, but he's very tactless. And and he's very uncouth, but it ties into the fact that when you look at him, you see a child. You know what I mean? So I don't. I'm sure this is weird torrent of impressions right now going on in Kaetao's mind of how to handle this.
Definitely. So as when wife into his pockets, Kaeto's just be like, okay, well, this happened, and it's not. Just a word of warning: try not to let things like this happen as often as you can, because we were actually I met Ophelia by when basically we were asked when strange things started happening around the city. We don't want strange things happening in this city. It's Minneapolis and St. Paul. No one else cares about this place except people who live here.
I didn't have anything to do with what just happened there. Like, I'll just make that clear. I didn't. That wasn't intentional. I don't know what happened. This is why I don't go out that often.
Well, maybe you should make it happen. Keep to that habit. It's working out for you.
Well, unfortunately, my associate is away for a few days, so I have to go and do stuff myself. But I appreciate you coming. I'll try and be more inconspicuous. And what I'll do is I'll make an attempt to disguise my appearance once more.
Go ahead again. You can.
And I will use a willpower this time.
Third time's a charm. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. You can blow willpower.
And this is purely. I'm using the willpower and doing this directly in front of Kaetao to try and maybe earn a little bit of his. I wouldn't say trust, but it's to show that he can rely on me to do what I have to do.
Competent.
Yeah. So I'll make that roll again, but with one willpower. There we go. 2 successes.
So you are looking like a little boy, right? That's what you're trying to do right now? Okay.
Yeah.
So you see this figure now. Like, Kaetao, you seeing in front of you. There's a moment where, like, you're putting your money in the pocket, this, like, chump change that this kid gave you. You know what I mean? And you look up and you see this figure staring up at you. Describe what you see this little boy who has kind of like his avatar here for people who don't see. He has like kind of like a sharper nose a little bit, has like these somewhat close eyes that are a little shallow, but not like eerie or not unattractive, but and has like kind of a thinner mouth and has like a very innocent look to him with like some blonde hair that's like cut like a bowl cut, that's standing now in this yellow slicker with the hood down that has like, jeans and tennis shoes. And he's like looking up at you and, like Kaetao, if there's something about children, obviously, right? Where like an innocence, right? And there's a moment where like you put your hands in your pocket, you look down, and that monster's not there. And I don't know, would you seeing this appearance of this child like cement anything, change anything? Like what does that bring out in Kaetao?
I think it definitely cements that. Oh yeah, this guy really was. He's not just like a short adult. He was a child at one point, and so it just like really hits it home. Like, yeah, this guy was changed as a child to a kindred, and now that's just like, ooh.
I'll look up at Kaetao and after the change and give him my most innocent, childlike kind of smile, and look at him. But you can see in the eyes that it's not a real smile. And I'll say, "Should we continue on?"
Okay, and Kaetao, since like he for him it's doubly so because smiles just don't really work for him anymore. He just like looks down and just don't do that with your teeth thing. Don't.
Oh, I'll close my mouth.
Now that's actually an interesting thing to delve into because Kaetao, one of his gangrel traits he got for losing his self-control role was that smiles he doesn't recognize that smiles like some animals. So to him, smiles come across as threatening or whatever. So when you smiled at him, he was just like, "Don't do that with your teeth." I really love that. That's really interesting. A couple things before we go on to Junos. One, it's kind of an interesting situation, the fact that you have this innocent looking boy who is here to investigate the murder of perhaps one of the most humane vampires, and like naive in a way but innocent vampire. Well, I don't want to call her exactly innocent all the time, you know what I mean, but like definitely I don't want to say good guy, but one of, like I said, the most naive,
more
humane, exactly, perfect, thank you, most humane vampires that you've came across, right? While you guys are walking to Juno's, that last block, what, Valentine, is going on in your head with everything you witnessed? I mean, you just witnessed some crazy shit. Like, how are you processing that right now?
Probably a little bit paranoid that we were seen. Also, I haven't heard from Simon in ages. I called out to him earlier, nothing. And then I got this, and I kind of thing, was that a delayed reaction or a coincidence? What's going on with Simon? He seemed to be in pain. And just those things kind of floating around, and at the same time, I'm thinking like, when am I going to find out Ophelia's? What the hell is Kaetao thinking about me right now? I'm kind of a little bit almost embarrassed as well, but trying to retain composure.
Yeah, two things. One, yeah, because when you first got here, Simon kind of said he didn't like it here. You remember he said at the house, he was like, "I don't like it," whatever. I'm not gonna do the creepy wraith voice, but you bring up a good thing about embarrassment, right? Because you still got that kid part of you, and kids are super self-conscious about being embarrassed, right? Like seriously, they want the whole like don't want to embarrass yourself in front of the class kind of thing. So I could like totally picture like Alex being like, or excuse me, Valentine being like embarrassed and kind of like that kid embarrassed, that he looked like a fool in front of this older Kindred who's a friend of a friend, so okay. Interesting stuff. So you guys are walking along, you kind of get closer to Juno's, and Juno's has like one of those canvas overheads that are over the front door, those canvas overheads that kind of have like canvas or whatever that protect people from the rain, and it has like a little little rug that's out front that people can walk up to before they open the double doors. And as you this is your first time coming to Juno's, but this is like the last time you were here was a few days ago, Kaetao. You're like here, you went up in the room and you saw the site that you saw with William, and you see the familiar doors that have like in that script, that paint on the two double door glass doors that say Juno's, and you see like there's like that menu that's like taped there for people who want to walk up and see the menu before they go in there, and then you open the double doors and you have a hostess walk up to you. She has like blonde hair, it's kind of longer in a ponytail, slick back. She looks athletic, maybe like 5'3", 100 and like 10 pounds. She comes up to you too, and she's like, "Oh, table for two?"
No, not for me. We're not staying real long. I'm just wanted to speak to Gina real quick for a moment.
Gina, you see, I'm sorry, I'm new here. Hold on one second. Let me see. And you see her walk up, and she walks up to this guy who looks to be like in his mid-20s, kind of darker hair, darker eyes, tall, about 6'1", 6'2", has like a suit pants with a shirt on and a tie. And he's like, he like goes and he walks back and he's like, so you're looking for who are you looking for?
Gina? Didn't Gina used to work here?
I'm sorry, there's no one by the name of Gina who works here.
Huh.
Is there anything I can help you with though?
No, don't worry about it. I might have made a mistake. Yeah, don't worry about it. Well, I think I'll just heading out now.
Okay, cool. You have a good night. All right.
You too.
Yeah. And you seem just kind of wave to you too, Valentine. Like, people wave to kids like, "Hey, yeah, you have fun."
Back at him coldly.
He's just like, he like turns around and walks off. You hear like
eye contact way too long with
him. You hear like chattering of people, like, utensils on plates and everything like that as you guys step out into the sidewalk again.
I'll look up at Kaetao, slightly confused, and I'll say, even I know Gina worked there. Ophelia emailed me about her. Wasn't she the manager?
Shoot, something like that, yeah.
This is odd. I'll kind of size the building up a bit and look for places that I might, handholds that I can gain, windows. So which room was hers?
It was just above the restaurant, so.
Okay, I'll note the window.
Yeah, you go to the side and you can see there's like kind of like a fire escape. You know what I mean? Like you go to the side and it's between two buildings, so it's not people like it's about 20 feet into the alleyway there, and you see like there's like a dumpster, and you see there's like a ladder that's like hanging down from like this little fire escape that you could probably climb up there if you wanted to.
Okay, I'll activate unseen presence. Like nice. I'll slip into the shadows a bit, activate unseen presence, and stealthily make my way up to the window.
So Kaetao, you go into this alley with him, and you guys are both looking up at the window, and then you look down, and you're like, "Where did that fucking kid go?" You're like looking around for this kid, you know what I mean? And let's go ahead and have you roll at dexterity and athletics. I'm going to say difficulty. I'm going to have you do two rolls: dexterity and athletics. Difficulty 6, and then when you're done rolling that, let me know how many successes you got.
3 success.
Okay. So, and then I need you to give me dexterity and stealth. Difficulty 8, but I'll give you 2 extra dice since you got 3 successes and the dexterity and athletics roll. So you're gonna have 2 extra dice to add to whatever your dexterity and stealth roll is, and that's a difficulty 8.
Difficulty 8. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Zero successes that time.
Okay. You could tell you're like looking around lost, and Valentine, you like climb up onto this dumpster and you like jump onto the ladder. You know what I mean? You're climbing up the ladder, and there's a moment where you're like, you climb like 6 feet of ladder. You're about 10 feet off the ground right now, and you kind of like get over the ladder onto like the little like fire escape ledge that's in front of her window, and you slip a little bit, and you kind of like, you know what I mean, fall on it a little bit, and you look down, and Kaetao, you hear this noise from up there, and you look up, like, what the fuck? And the kid is like already up on this ledge. Now you still have your mask of 1,000 faces, but you just see this little boy looking down from you like 20 feet up, man. And then like literally it was like just this just compopulating feeling, man. It's like you, especially I would assume with like a predator type personality like Gangrel have, like you lost control, you know what I mean? And now you're looking up and you see this figure's looking down. Go ahead, scenes on you.
Just what I'm thinking while I'm climbing. I'm used to, not so used to climbing buildings and so on. I'm quite a dexterous little dude, but I'm more used to trees and, natural features. So I guess when I slip, I'm kind of like laugh to myself a bit and think, oh, this is, I like the challenge of something new to climb. I'm kind of testing it out, thinking I'm going to have to get more used to this if I'm going to be here.
You are standing on this ledge and you see this window that's in front of you, and there's no curtains on, but there's no lights, right now in the room.
I'll try the window, try to open it.
So it's locked right now, the window from inside.
Okay. I guess I don't want to break the window. That's going to draw so much attention.
Just a word of advice, I guess. And okay, hold on. What do you want to do? And then I'll give you my word of advice.
I was going to try and just force the window jam, try and just force it open without smashing it.
Yeah. And here's the thing too. When you were down there in the kitchen, it's like 10 at night right now. So people are eating, you know what I mean? There's people still down there drinking, eating. It's kind of lively right now. So when you guys walked in there, would you have heard something from upstairs? I'm just saying, don't be worried too much, but we could do the pry and open. Now, here's the thing. What's your strength at?
My strength is 2.
You don't have poems, right?
No.
Okay. So here's the thing. You can spend blood. You can bump your strength up to 5 if you would like.
Yeah. Well, what I want to do is test it to see how far I can get it without making too much noise to where it's creaking. Mm-hmm. Realizing that it's probably, there's people downstairs, there's people out in the street. I want to just reach in, get my phone, and I'll send a text down to Kaetao, and I'll just say, hey, look, is there any way you can get up there and open the window for me, even if it's just brief?
You see that? You hear your phone vibrating in your pocket, Kaetao.
Okay, let's open it up and check it, and be like, "Oh, I can try, but I'll text back, and I can try, but I'm much more visible than you."
Okay, I'll text back and I'll just put DW, like, don't worry, and I'll go back and I'll spend a blood pull point to increase my strength and give the window a firm push with my shoulder.
Okay, so you're gonna have to spend 3 blood pool points if you'd like to do that.
3.
All right.
Okay, sure.
So what does that bring you down to?
3.
Oh, you're down to 3 blood points? Oh, okay. Oh man, dude. All right, so you pop it open. I'm gonna have some fun with Valentine. So you pop the window open, you shove it, and you feel like the break of the wood of the frame kind of creak and snap a little bit, and you're able to slide it open, because this is a pretty, like, those hipster kind of apartments people rent on top of, you know what I mean? On top of these, like, no one expects to get broken in, like anything like this. So you hear it slide open eventually. You're kind of greeted by the coolness of the air conditioner. Like, it kind of combats like the moisture that's still out there, even though it stopped raining, it's still somewhat humid,
Mm-hmm.
And you are able to get into the window if you would like, but you look in there, you don't really see anything too much. You just kind of you get the sense of empty. I don't want to be cheap, but you know what I mean? You know how you can kind of like, you go into a house when you're looking at a house or an apartment to move in, and you go in there, you can kind of sense like the emptiness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I'm kind of reminded of the feeling I had at my own house after Donald left that night.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you going to do?
Well, I want to quietly close the window behind me to make it look like it's undisturbed, draw the curtains. I'll go and make sure the door's locked.
You go through the window and you turn around, you slide the curtains. And then you turn back around and look towards the room. And it's a little bit more lit because there's like a light coming from underneath the door, that's on the opposite end of the room. But you're looking around, and the light that you had before you closed the curtains and the going through the window in the room showed that there was no furniture in this room.
Okay.
So that like it had been cleared out, so right now you're kind of standing in this empty room right now.
This is absolutely nothing.
Nope, it looks like someone came in here and took the furniture out and cleaned up in here, and it's empty.
Okay. I'll get my phone out and use the torch to illuminate the room. I want to tap into my investigative skills and just scan the room, see if there's anything I can notice, even if there's any hairs on the floor or anything.
So give me perception investigation difficulty 8, please.
Sure. I'm going to use a willpower. 1 success.
2 including the willpower. Okay. So you are looking around this room with this light, and you're like, I gotta find something. And you can feel like the beast kind of like, it's a weird feeling to you, man. The beast, right? You can't rationalize the beast. You just didn't live long enough of a human life. You didn't even hit puberty, bro. You don't know the aggressiveness that like puberty or like your glands or hormones your glands can produce or anything like that. So the beast is like this temper tantrum that almost like seems to be a part of you. You're used to like just having these tantrums, and you could feel like the beginning of one just like starting to like come up the back of your neck and in your thoughts, like when you were a little bit younger as a mortal and you knew you had to take a nap and your mom said you had to take a nap, but you didn't want to take a nap, but you knew damn well she was right that you had to take a nap. You're starting to feel that a little bit, like a little ornery, and you're like getting angry because you're like, see this empty room, and you did not expect to find a fucking empty room in here. You expected to find something that you could use, and you're looking around your phone and you start realizing there's a moment where you're like, I am finding jack shit. What the fuck? And then you're like, wait, it's not even any fucking dust. And you're like looking across the floor because it's like this hardwood floor, and you don't even see any scuffs of like shoes or anything like that. And you start and you're going along, and then you realize you smell something, and you smell fresh paint, and you're realizing that the walls have been painted. And you like even open a closet and you look inside the closet and you see the inside of a closet had been painted. So you're starting to realize at this moment that like someone came in this room and removed everything, cleaned everything, repainted everything, did like a once up on it. You know what I mean? Just made it like no one lived in here, and it is completely empty, fresh, repainted, no sign of anything here.
Okay. I'm gonna I'll take a short video of the room being empty and send it to Kaetao and just say there's nothing here.
Oh, your phone vibrates.
Okay, and Kaetao will look at that and he'll think like it was the exact same thing at Chase's place. Actually, I will text this back to him saying, Jonathan Chase's house was the exact same way when I checked it.
I'll reply again. I'll say, between this and the Gina thing, this is getting weird.
Yes.
Hello, folks. Have you ever wished you could have an easy way to find gameplay videos and podcasts, or just media in general that deals with your favorite White Wolf role-playing games? Or have you ever wished you could find a forum to share gameplay that you have recorded, one which wouldn't be drowned out by random posts and discussion, so that your media could get the attention you want? Well, we have the answer for you in a Facebook group we run called White Wolf RPGs Gameplay and Media. The group is specifically ran with the sole intent of it being a one-stop shop for people to view or share media involving the games we all love. We take thorough steps to ensure the page does not become cluttered and is easy to traverse. We are currently over 1,000 members strong, and we are continuing to rapidly grow with new media being shared every day. Stop on by. We hope to see you there. High Level Games, the industry's first choice in taking your games to the next level. We are a podcast blog and new media network at highlevelgames.ca. We have blog posts about all of your favorite games going up 5 days a week, and a podcasting network with actual plays and shows that discuss role-playing games, with more rolling out all the time. We are on iTunes, Twitch, and YouTube. Find out more information at highlevelgames.ca, a site that certainly isn't controlled by a shadowy board of directors of otherworldly origin. That's highlevelgames.ca.
Please, help. They're coming.
The Los Angeles metropolitan area is constantly growing and changing. The Central District is full of new buildings. The Hollywood and Wilshire districts, once far from downtown, now are part of which spreads past Beverly Hills and out to the ocean. But why is all this going on in Los Angeles? Why is Los Angeles an exploding city?
Neon Masquerade.
The Demon's Mirror.
13 Candles.
3 chronicles running through the undead veins of the City of Angels.
The Esoteric Order of Roleplayers Actual Play podcast invites you to drink deeply.
Go to eorpodcast.com and search the Duets tag to find out more.